Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Member Spotlight by Allied Muslim Chamber of Business. MCOB is a membership-based social enterprise with a mission to create a thriving Muslim business community. It's the power of collective wisdom, continued learning, and thought leadership brought together for Muslims by Muslims. Our core belief is that business leaders thrive when they have access to a supportive community of peers who challenge and inspire each other. Today, we have with us our member Rizwan Yunus. Rizwan is a driven leader with 30 plus years of experience in engineering and information technology, specializing in health information systems. Rizwan's established IT connections and MidSouth healthcare management consultants, firms dedicated to providing evidence based solutions for medical practices in the competitive US healthcare landscape. Welcome, Rizwan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Good to be
Thank you
here.
for being here with us today. Would
Yes.
love to learn your journey, how you started and where you are today.
Well, I graduated in 1988 back home in Pakistan. Did my mechanical engineering and went on to do masters in mechanical engineering. And then, just like a lot of us, came to the US looking for, a dream life. Initially, I was looking for a mechanical engineering job here. And as Allah has his ways, I stumbled upon an opportunity in healthcare in 2000. Um, and in 2000, 2001, technology was just starting, internet was just coming up, speeds were increasing, applications were growing. And I looked around, and I could not find a whole lot of technology people in healthcare. They were typical IT folks, but
Okay.
not people in specializing in healthcare as a whole, how the whole healthcare system in the US works.
Okay.
And very quickly, within 2 3 months of looking around, I immediately made up my mind, this is where I want to be and this is where I want to grow. And
Mhm.
the goal was, all along the goal was that at some point in my career I'm going to go on my own, start a company, and provide. Initially it was just consulting services, and it matured into a whole lot of other things, you see. So for first 14 years of my time here in the US, I had a job at a very large cancer center.
Okay.
And in the beginning, they were one of the first few people here in the Mid-South. I'm based in Memphis, Tennessee. So in Mid-South, they were one of the largest cancer centers. And they had, from a technology point of view, they had nothing. They had absolutely very, very basic kind of things, one or two computers here and there, but they were visionaries. Those group of physicians were real visionaries. They knew where everything is going. In 2001, we were one of the first few people to have an electronic medical record, way before everybody else. It was very, specific to oncology, uh, but it was, compared to today, it was primitive, but it was still leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. So I implemented that system, and for the next 14 years, I stayed with them, grew them into very, very large organization, had affiliations with university, had affiliations with multiple hospitals, did a lot of clinical trial work with lots of physicians, because it became an academic cancer center. So we had a fellowship program, we had a residency program, and people were writing papers. And I was in the middle of all of that, like a one or two man, maybe sometimes a three-man team, dealing with technology issues. And it involved, all kinds of things, from hardware to networking to data, most importantly, data. So I was the core person who was extracting data, clinical data, out of the system and providing it to the doctors who were writing papers. And so that became the highlight of my time over there. And definitely, as you can see, since everything started riding on technology, lots of transitions were taking place. For example, they were initially medical oncologists. They decided to go into radiation oncology. That meant more different types of technologies came in. Radiology came in, and radiation oncology came in, and all those things came in. And how do you make everything work together, hardware wise, data wise, workflow wise? So that became my specialty. And as I grew into that job, I felt that there was a huge need out there for a person like me who would deal with the hardware, who would deal with networking, who would deal with software, who would deal with data, who would deal with workflow analysis kind of thing. So I did multiple things. So by 2014, I felt that I had reached the pinnacle of the management over there in that cancer center, as high as I could get, and I was not getting very excited about going to work every day and not and it was not exciting me anymore. I needed a change. For 14 years, it was a very long time, and I needed change. And at that point, I said, okay, let me see what I can do. So but in 2011, I started planning that, okay, 3 years, 4 years, I need to plan my exit and get ready. 2014, I left and started my company. And since then, I've been on my own. And what I did over there for one company, now I'm doing it for all of my customers who and it involves different multitudes of areas, from practice management to data analytics to getting practices set up, managing and maintaining practices, technology, so I do almost everything that I used to do at the cancer center. And this time around, my bosses are different practices. And I'm very happy to say that I have not basically my one of the main things was that I didn't want to become a reseller for anybody. So I built very strong relationships with different software companies, lots of different hospital networks, physician groups, and they trusted me to provide them with the advice, and I did that, and that's where I am. So at this point, I have practices all across the U.S., multiple states, more on the eastern side and less on the western side, but north, south, and different states, and we do provide all kinds of different services to practices. I have got two main offices. One is here in Memphis, Tennessee, and the other one is overseas. So I have about a team of about 50, 60 people on my staff.
Okay. So you started it about 11 years ago. And how's your journey so far?
I was not a born businessman, so that's the first thing. So I made a lot of mistakes. But over the years, I learned a lot, did a lot of things myself, kept everything very small. And the goal was to keep things real simple from a business standpoint.
Mhm.
And the goal was to be straightforward, honest, and transparent with the customer, and do the best I could. And I never basically the money side of it was not a main thing for me. My main thing was my credibility and my work. And my philosophy was, if I do good work and if I am honest and transparent to my customers, the money will follow. I don't really chase down that path. I don't go there. So and that is exactly what happened. My credibility with my customers is to the point that we have providers and physicians who have retired. They still call me. Physicians who have joined hospitals and other bigger, larger groups, I have still, communications with them, and they off and on they will seek advice for different decisions that they are about to make. And I love that. Basically, that gives me a lot of satisfaction that my way of thinking and my way of working actually works, and it has value in today's world. And from a growth point of view, I did not box myself in a way that, oh, I'm only going to do technology. I took everything that came my way and analyzed it and saw and determined how can I use it as a business opportunity. Like once COVID came,
Yeah.
my work doubled and tripled because everybody wanted to do telemedicine. So I had to set up everybody, all providers, to do that properly and smoothly. And then I said, okay, so once COVID basically went away a little bit, people started having staffing problems. So I took upon the staffing issue, and I made it into a business opportunity, and I'm still doing that, and it's growing very rapidly. In fact, that is the biggest piece of my business that is growing very rapidly, the staffing side, where I provide staffing services. I don't provide the staff, but I
Mhm.
provide the services to medical offices. And
Okay.
so that is what I'm doing. So and then this MidSouth healthcare opportunity came along. A friend of mine was very sick, and she was into medical billing and coding and stuff like that. I had never imagined I would go into in that direction, but once I started talking to her, I said, okay, this is the only thing in my portfolio that is missing in healthcare that I'm not doing. Everything else I'm doing. So I took that up as a challenge, and worked with her, and now we are partners, and we are growing. You know, to be honest, 80% of my time is spent on the MidSouth healthcare side, and only 25% is spent on the technology side these days.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's definitely good to hear. And
Yes.
hard work always pays off.
Yes. Yes.
So hard work and honesty and all that stuff.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your clientele. Like, what type of customers do you work with? What size of customers do you work
My target is usually from one provider to about 15 to 20 provider practices, and depending on what they need. We do not basically present ourselves to be a one solution company to all our customers. We have
with? Okay.
multiple services, and depending on who needs what, and we basically provide them with that service. And these days, a lot of nurse practitioners are starting their own clinics. Lots of PAs and the mid-level providers are starting their own clinics. But I'm also, you know, in my world, there are three kinds of physicians or providers. They come to me, and become my customers. One are brand new, who are just out of school, or they are out of they've never done their own practice, and they want to start one, and they have been a part of a larger group. They come out of the group, and then they come to me, or they before they leave the group, they come and say, I want to start my practice. What do I need to do? So that is one set of providers that come to me.
Okay.
That those are brand new practices, where they don't even have a building, they don't even have an address, and we
Mhm.
start from that level. Then there are providers who come to me who are running their own independent practices, but who are in trouble. Either they are technologically in trouble, meaning they need an upgrade, they are migrating systems, they don't know what to do. So from a technology point of view, they need help. Or people who are running into financial difficulties. So they are overstaffed, and they are spending a lot of money, not making a whole lot. The usual business story that the expenses are more than the income. So that's when we jump in and we analyze, we audit the practices comprehensively from end to end. Technology, contracts, income, expenses, everything. We audit them, and then we present a report to the physicians, and then we target the practice depending on what services we can provide to fix their problems. So those are and those physicians are independent of the specialties. I have cardiologists and nephrologists, rheumatologists, oncologists with me as my customers, and um, so it is independent of the technology. Changes a little bit depending on what kind of
Yep.
specialty it is.
Mhm.
Cardiology needs are different from rheumatology needs, and similarly, internal medicines are different from any other specialty. So, but other than that, I have a whole long list of physicians and practices that I work with different specialties. But
Okay.
I have tried to. So far I have not yet worked with the hospital. So I'm just waiting for that opportunity to come, and I'll hopefully work with the hospital as well.
Okay. No. Yeah, that make your pathway towards that. Now, being like you came out, you did engineering
Yes.
before, and that's where you started, and then you worked in on the corporate side, and then
Yes.
now running your own company.
Yes.
What message would you like to give to fellow entrepreneurs?
Don't be afraid to try. It's okay to make mistakes. Um, be honest and transparent. I think everybody is a specialist in their own field. Whosoever is trying to start a business, but I think a lot of people don't do it because they are scared. It is a scary thing. I can assure you. I promise you, it is not that simple. Particularly if you have worked in a job environment like I did for 28 years. 14 in one job and 14 in another job. So it is very comfortable. You get a salary and all. It's a safety net that you have, and it's very scary to jump into an unknown once you start your own business because it is an unknown. But at some point, you need to start trusting your abilities. And I think if you plan it a little bit and trust your abilities, and I think with good intentions, I think there's no reason for people not to be successful. Absolutely. If I can do it, anybody can. I can assure you, in my family, there is not a businessman in sight ever, nowhere close. I'm the only one. So I'm not a born businessman. So if I can do it, anybody can.
All right. No, thank you for that advice. That's if you can share a little bit about your personal side in terms of what your
Yes.
interests are, your hobbies.
So I have been in boarding schools all my life, almost all my life. So I started in the boarding school back home in grade 8, class 8. And I have been a very, very active, avid sportsman, very active. I started my day thinking about having a game in the afternoon, whether it is soccer or squash or whether it's swimming or something else. And I eventually ended up playing three different sports at a very good level. I enjoyed it tremendously. So sports is something that is built into me, which I cannot take out. Now I'm older, my knees do not have enough strength, so I'm just good to watch. But I go for swimming and a little bit of racquetball here and there, but I'm still very active in sports. Um, my idea of relaxation is to stay home, watch movies, spend time with the family. I've traveled a lot in my life, a lot. I'm very blessed that once I was in grade 8, 9, and 10, my father took us on a big long road trip in Europe. So I traveled throughout Europe. I was not that young, but I was not that old also in grade 8. I still remember that travel time. Then I did my master's from Beijing University. So I traveled over there. I traveled a lot in China, Southeast Asia. So I have traveled a lot. I love traveling. Recently, I have not been able to because of the business needs and because of that reason. But now I have a 7-year-old daughter. So I'm planning to start doing that because I think that's the best part that I can have with her. I have a small family. We have one daughter. I've been married for about 28 years now. You have been based in Tennessee for since 2000, 2001 and have no plans of going anywhere. A lot of people have told me, go to Dallas, go to Chicago, go move over there. You'll have a lot of opportunity there. I don't think so. I'm made for a big city. I'm happy here, very comfortable. And reading books, very avid, crazy about history, particularly Islamic history. I don't have time to read books by holding a book in my hand. I listen to a lot of books, and my best time is once I'm driving. So that's when I'm listening to a book. I'm not into a whole lot of music. Here and there is fine, but more into books. So I listen to the books, political history, Islamic history more. If I look at my library, about 70-80% of the books that I have are all about Islamic history from all different angles. Some of them are religious, some of them are political, some of them are just militant, military history, things like that. So very avid history buff, you can say that.
Okay.
So that
No,
is who I am. Yeah.
that's definitely good to know. Where do you see, last question, where do you see Mid-South in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think we the way we are going and the kind of work we are doing, the quality of work we are doing, I'm very proud that the kind of work we are doing. And once I compare myself to other companies who are in the same domain, and the kind of sometimes the customers who come to us being after they have been handled by another company. I think I am very hopeful in the next let's say 5 years we will become one of the largest practice management companies in at least mid-south. That's the goal. That's the goal. And one of the things that I have done is um, I was very reluctant. It was very difficult to convince myself to have trust in my team. And I initially my way of looking was, oh, pay people, everybody less, and maybe they will be able to produce. But I basically changed my strategy, and I said, you want to produce good quality work, you need to get a good team around you, and then you need to be able to take care of them. So, and that is what I did. And now, mashallah, I have got, I think, the best team around me. Whether they are here or whether they are overseas, I think we have one of the best teams who will do everything possible. Once I bring I have my team has actually told me, sir, you don't worry. You just tell us, bring on the customer, and we will deal with the customer. You don't have to worry about it, whether we can do the work or not. So that is the confidence level that we have. So my best asset is my team. That
Yes,
yes,
definitely. In this service industry, it's your human capital. That's the main
yes,
uh,
yes,
asset you have. So,
yes.
no, congratulations on your
Thank you
growth.
very much. Thank you.
My best wishes are with you for growing the company further, and looking
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing more success from your end.
Definitely. I'll be part of MCOM. I'm so happy I'm involved here. It is very refreshing to be part of those meetings, listen to all those ideas and learn a lot. I'm learning a lot. To be honest, every meeting I see a new face and I have an opportunity to learn something from that newcomer in the group.
No, thank you for being part of this very valuable part of this
Thank
journey.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Yes.